Hi, my name is Maceo Lewis, and welcome to ML Sports Talk. Hit the subscribe button so you can see more of my commentary on sports. So you get notices. It's free, you don't have to pay anything, but you just get notices of my next post. So today I want to talk about the Shannon Sharpe sexual assault lawsuit. And basically, what I want to address is how this is going to impact his career as a media personality. So just to be clear, this is not a TMZ show. Like I don't get involved in the gossip or who's dating who, all that stuff. I just don't really care about that. All I care about is watching sports and breaking down what I see and listening to what maybe I didn't see from people who are regular people like you and me, or people from the industry, people who work there, or people who are professional commentators, people who've put their dues in, played the sport, things of that nature, and obviously what goes on in the news. I do follow sports commentary shows such as First Take, PTI. Follow those shows religiously for like the last over a decade, and I think personalities they are important for the game. They help breathe life into this world of sports, and it's kind of like looking at listening to conversations in the barbershop or going to a water cooler. Now I know I don't have any hair, but when I did hair, I did go to a barbershop, and we would always like, just talk about sports. Or at work, sitting by the water cooler, having a discussion about the game that happened, or a big trade that happened in the news. So that's what I want to do when I am on this site, is to talk about what happened, and I really don't get into like who said what, or like directly address, oh, so and so said this, well, this is what I think. Like that. I just pretty much say what I think and leave it at that. And but I do like to hear about what other people have to say, and that's why I watch those sports commentary shows like First Take and PTI. Now, here, this is sports news because Shannon, who's a big time personality on First Take, is taking a leave of absence from First Take to address his legal situation with this lawsuit with the plaintiff about sexual allegations. So that's news in itself. So I'm going to talk about that and my understanding of the situation, and how I think this could impact his career as a sports pundit. Now, Shannon, so he announced that he's stepping down temporarily from his ESPN duties so he can focus time on his family, and also to responding to the false allegations against him. Now, I use the term false allegations because that's the term that he used, because that's his defense. I'm not saying I know anything about the case. I don't have any personal knowledge about what happened, or didn't happen. I'm just using his term. He intends to basically return to ESPN um, at the start of the NFL season. So that's basically what he said about that. Now, his statement, it can be found on social media. So I'm not giving a word for word diagnosis of what he said and what the plaintiff said. You can look up that online. I'm just giving a paraphrase as to how I understand the whole case, what it's supposed to be about from both sides. And basically, what Shannon's saying, he's saying this whole suit is a shakedown, that he was involved with a consensual sexual relationship with the plaintiff. He put her name out there. I'm not going to put her name out there because she's listed as Jane Doe on the complaint. So, but he basically says that she secretly recorded him in a consensual sexual relationship that's going to be taken out of context. But essentially, there's something about him choking or threatening to choke her, and that's something that she wanted him to do in this kind of role play type situation. So that's basically what he's saying. This is all consensual and kind of taken out of context to try to shake him down for money, and he's going to countersuit them for defamation. The plaintiff is saying that she was actually sexually assaulted by Shannon Sharpe, and she's seeking damages. And she's represented by Tony Busby, who also represented the plaintiffs against Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Deshaun Watson. And of course, Shannon attacked the lawyer as well, and saying that he, is has like a history of going after black men and making it like he has like a racial vendetta or something like that. So I don't know Tony Busby or anything like that, so I can't comment on that. But anyway, that's what Shannon's saying. So just to give you a sense of where I'm coming from, and well, first of all, how much respect I have for Shannon Sharpe. So he's age 56, going on to age 57. He went to Savannah State College. Was drafted seventh round pick from the Denver Broncos by the Denver Broncos in 1990. He played from 1990 to 1999, 2002 to 2003. He played with the Baltimore Ravens 2000, 2001. He won three Super Bowls, two with Denver, one with the Ravens. So he has three Super Bowl rings. He has multiple Pro Bowls, all pro teams, all decade team of 1990s, and he was enshrined in the Hall of Fame in 2011. So he transitioned from professional athlete to a broadcast career somewhere around 2004. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't follow his career in 2004 as a media commentator. I mostly picked up on him when he joined forces with Skip Bayless in 2016. Because I used to watch Skip Bayless. I followed Skip Bayless's career since Cold Pizza when he was on with Willie Page, when Skip went to First Take with, with Stephen A. And then Skip eventually left ESPN, went to Fox, and started this new show called Undisputed, of course, with Shannon Sharpe and the moderator, Joy Taylor. And so that's when I first was introduced to Shannon as a sports commentator. And ever since then, I followed Undisputed because of both Skip and Shannon. I like their dynamic. I like the way they were going at each other, and I like the way they broke things down. And I just like the whole the atmosphere about the show and the whole dynamic between the two personalities. And so I stopped following it, obviously, when both after both Shannon and then eventually Skip left. So I haven't seen Undisputed since then, but I did follow Shannon back to ESPN because I was still watching First Take with Stephen A. And then ironically, Shannon went to First Take where Skip came from in 2023. And he's been basically there up until recently. I just bring this up to show how much respect I have for Shannon, both for his athletic career and as a media personality. I think he's funny. I think he's humorous. He gives the impression that he believes what he's saying. So he's real. And, I just like to hear what he has to say, just like I like to hear what certain people at work or certain people at the barbershop have to say. So anyway, that's just my take on Shannon. Now, I'm not going to get into what happened or didn't happen. I wasn't there. I haven't heard all the evidence. And even what comes out in public may not even come out in a civil jury trial. And I haven't heard the tapes. But I will admit I do have a bias because of my respect for Shannon and listening to him for almost a decade now. So my bias is, my gut says that I don't think he committed the sexual assault. Okay, again, that's not a matter of personal knowledge. That's just a gut feeling, or that's a matter of bias. But I mean, my mind's open to change. Like, obviously, if I hear something from the complaining witness or the plaintiff, or hear a piece of evidence that could totally change my bias, and so it's not like my position is like, oh, or he's innocent and that's it, and I'm not going to listen to anything else. No, I'm willing to listen and hear what exactly happened. I'm just being honest about where my bias is right now. Okay. Now, Shannon mentioned, or his lawyer mentioned, that there was a settlement. Now, just because there was a settlement doesn't mean, or a settlement offer for $10 million doesn't mean that Shannon's guilty, because cases like settle all the time. I mean, there's no way the legal system can operate without settlements, and judges encourage settlements. And personally, sometimes people settle the case because the cost of litigating a case far outweighs the cost to settle a case. So in terms of money, time, effort, energy, and all that goes into play when someone wants to decide whether they want to make a settlement offer. So I'm not going to take that as an admission of guilt. But the issue is, how this is going to impact Shannon's career with ESPN. He signed a multi-year extension with ESPN back in June of 2024. Just a few days ago, there was talks about him having a $100 million contract with the podcast, Club Shay Shay, and other podcasts that he has. So this is probably going to be a situation, like in any situation, where ESPN and the podcast company, they're going to look at the numbers and see, okay, how much views does he generate? How much ratings does he generate? Is it worth it to keep him around, or is it more worth it to, okay, let's bite the bullet and keep him on? Because, I mean, it's going to come down to a business decision. Right. And his numbers, the ESPN numbers, the viewership numbers on First Take's been up since he joined the network. He had the 89 million views with the Cat Williams podcast on Club Shay Shay. So his numbers are up. So, but look, I don't watch Club Shay Shay. I only watch it. I only watch the Cat Williams one. And that's about it. So I only see him on First Take. So I can only speak about mostly what he says on First Take. Now, how will this impact me? I mean, basically, it just depends. I mean, obviously, if he's innocent, I'm gonna keep watching him. But honestly, it's gonna depend on how well he conducts himself in response to these allegations. Look, it's one thing if you did something and you have contrition. I mean, we all make mistakes. And we have no problem with that. But if he is, intimidating people, harassing people, bullying, and I'm not saying this is what's going on. I mean, look, I understand how someone can be falsely accused of something and then want to react strongly against the false accusations. I totally get that. But at the same time, if you're bullying people, if you're harassing people, that could turn people off and against you. I mean, look at Lance Armstrong, right? I mean, at least for me, it wasn't just the lying; it was just the constant, going after the victims and intimidating them and all that stuff. I'm not going to get to that whole situation, but I'm just using that as an example of how, someone's response to a situation can completely turn the public against them. I mean, Jonathan Majors, like the stuff they said on that tape, I mean, really turned people against him. That's why his last movie probably didn't do too well. So, I mean, that's a lesson that Shannon needs to look out for and be conscious of. I mean, yeah, like, I understand your defense is that, you didn't do it and she's lying. We get it. We understand the whole, consensual encounter defense. But I mean, you gotta be careful how you deal with the situation, how you address it, because if you come across as a bully and you turn people off, I mean that could affect ESPN keeping that contract or your views and stuff. And I mean, if you turn people off, you're not gonna be getting those contracts. It's not always gonna be there. So anyway, that's just my take on the situation. Look, that's all I want to say about it. I hope he's innocent. I hope he gets back to First Take. But yeah, that's just my general thoughts about the situation. So hit the subscribe button on ML Sports Talk so you can hear more of my thoughts on the news and sports as well as the games that I watch.